Hey team, welcome to Starcom, the unknown sector. Last time we started treading upon the snakes, since they were being the rude. Found the little secret alcove that people were hiding up there in. And now back to the Solano to do some ship maintenance. While you were gone, some refined resources just randomly appeared nearby. Hey, resources from the refinery. Very nice. Nothing from her, nothing from him. We got researchy bits to use. What are we using them on? Reactor shenanigans? We reacting? Reactor Mark IIs, anti-proton chains. Yeah, I figure we go all the way up to Reactor Mark IIIs. But, just gotta wait for the ability to do that. Give me a second here, let me work. Alright, it's getting there. Did some light work. What are we off to do now? Let's go up here and talk to the Alethea, see if they have anything for us. And maybe the Grorier bros. We found a massive polyhedral artifact deep in space. What can you tell us about it? Based on your data, a remnant artifact, certainly. Very early Fallen Empire documents mention crystals, or jewels, with this shape. There is a great deal of superstition about them. They are significant to the devout, who believe the Starlance must cast them into the sea. Similar language can be found in early Empire texts related to gateways, suggesting this is a metaphor for wormhole travel. Why the Remnant would need larger and more elaborate artifacts than the gateways is a mystery. Perhaps it is a mistake to assume that the Remnant artifacts should be any more comprehensible to us than they are to a Pikyak fly. Okay, so naming convention with the Ermir, the same fly mention as the Ermir. Y'all have some kind of relationship. We will investigate it ourselves. If you learn anything more about it, please share. Found a ring portal. What do you know about this? The academics of the Fallen Empire learned much about the Remnants. For their quest to preserve knowledge, they were named heretics by the devout and purged from the galaxy. They used these portals to flee into the void and took secrets of their workings with them. Optical something or other. Not able to do so. How about you? Okay. Good to see you again, Commander. As you can see, we made it back in one piece. Now we're reviewing survey data and patrolling the sector. We detected ship movement in the sector's void periphery shortly before we returned, but they fell back when we investigated. What have you learned about the history of this space? Quite a bit, but it's fragmented. The broad history, as you may have gathered, is until roughly 800 years ago. The dominant power was an empire that controlled most of the space, generally referred to as the Fallen Empire. I get the impression they took credit for the remnant artifact and apparently had access to some we have not seen. While it is a very powerful civilization compared to us, they clearly were far below the remnants. What caused the Empire's collapse? Difficult to say, because the Empire's own records predictably describe everything as great, but they were clearly experiencing problems for a long time before the end, gradually and then suddenly, as it were. My current pet theory is infighting within the Empire's power structure, and a populist religious movement took advantage of this. And that religious movement would be the Devout. A reasonable guess, and confirmed by the Grorier's account. Okay. That's out of the way. Where are we off to now is the question. Let's go ahead and deal with this. Might take us a bit to get down there. I figure we'll go down here. Maybe across. Maybe it'll be something. Could just go up that way too. But since that's the farthest doodad out, might as well just do that. Really? What are the chances of that happening? Yeah, it's going to be a while. Might not be enough. Might need to wait. It's gonna be what? 32,000 AU away at 35 speed? Really? Get out the fucking way. At least for now we're getting into the void, so that's a positive. Still, that's like 5 minutes away. Sure is. She's like 5 minutes away. Alright then, I guess we'll just sit back and chillax and, well, I don't know, chillax. Making our way across space. Super slow. So you know. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I don't really have anything to fill in there. I was trying to come up with something in my mind, but it's just, holy shit. Yeah, this is gonna be a 5-minute trek across open space. Give me a star. Give me something. Give me something. Should have just continued fighting and exploring Snake Land. To be fair. Wow, space is big. Yes, it is. Space is kind of bigly. You. Oh my god. Okay, good. We found We found at least a little bit of a detour. I can deal with that. About to go crazy just driving across space. Should have waited until I got the other engines. My great aunt to the 7th was Henrietta Swan Leavitt. She figured out how to use Cepheid variables to measure galactic scale. I've been waiting to bring that up. It's a very weirdly specific topic to bring up. I think it's great we're investigating one of these stars, despite how Dr. Cut the Scuttlebutt. Just a reminder to everyone, everything on this channel goes into the ship's logs, which any command level officer can review. I heard from one of her lab assistants. She's really warm and friendly and great. Ensign Pyrrhix out. What were you trying to say? Don't hedge. I think it's great we're investigating one of those stars, despite how ungrateful Dr. Rama's been to Commander Rask. Yeah, there you go. And I guess we could scan this optical detector. Long-range visible spectrum camera, capable of recording and storing large quantities of information with little power. And a star over there. And we got whiskey mug here. He just shows up wherever the hell he feels like, doesn't he? Hell are you, a bubble? A network of 1,200-meter structures punctuate the surface of this planet. Ensign Galice believes that they may be transferring energy by warp induction to the station we observed above the planet. It might be possible to trick one of the towers to tell them to shut down, but they may have countermeasures. This is an oddly inefficient use of their advanced technology. It's like heating a tea kettle with a laser on another planet. Success. Ensign Galice reports they've convinced the structures that the station is no longer in orbit and are no longer projecting energy towards it. Hey. This primitive space station is protected by a remarkably advanced energy shield. Station is uninhabited, although it may have previously had a small crew. The interior very much looks like the first attempts at space travel. Well made, but lacking experience. Most of the equipment is scientific in nature, collecting basic observations on the nearby stars' variations. The shield generator uses a Higgs field to selectively lower the speed of light, depending on the localized energy density of the region. Obviously, a recent addition is a large module collecting the energy transmitted from the planet's surface and using it to generate the protective shield. Technically, it's quite illuminating, very advanced by our standards, although the effort and technology used to protect this station raises many questions. Just a little bit. Based on the study of the generator on that ship, this would allow us to research a more powerful shield technology. I mean, once we figured out shield technology, obviously. Control system of a shield module. This device allows controlling modulation of the shield's energy threshold, without which it would be useless as a defense. If we can find additional components from shield generators, I think we'd be able to research building our own. Okay, so we're working up shields. I can dig that. Ooh, a bunch of stars over here. Okay. Okay, let's go. It's clear even from this distance that this is no Cephid. There's some kind of megastructure occluding the star's output. Another megastructure, you say? Hundreds or perhaps even thousands of years ago, this planet was host to a thriving civilization, perhaps not too much behind our own in technology. The sudden change in climate brought that to an end. Much of the civilization is now buried under kilometers of glaciers, but a few elevated settlements offer resources they no longer have a need for. I found a few texts in the ruins that indicate the cataclysm didn't take them by surprise. They were forewarned that their sun would darken. It's not unclear if they couldn't prepare or chose not to. Darken, have something swishing around it, creating a weird pulsing effect. The giant candelabra shenanigan, like, is it a flashlight? I'm assuming it's going to shoot. I'm assuming it's going to take energy from the sun and shoot it out the cone, which does appear to be pointed down here. Is that in a straight line just about? Yeah. This massive structure has the design characteristics of other remnant artifacts. Maybe I'm seeing what I want to see, but the main projection of that structure appears to share some design attributes with the stabilizers Starcom used to hold open the wormhole. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. This gargantuan megastructure envelops a dwarf star with a mass slightly higher than Jupiter's. There are no accessible points. Why don't we go over to the orange star? Because there might be a flinger. We just use that. And we can fling ourselves. Or there might just be a gas giant. Who knows? Ancient Orbiter. Okay. Well, it's definitely not friendly. What the hell is this? Oh god, the swarm cometh. Okey-dokey, this isn't great. This would be one of those times where I want a plasma turret. This is a very old automated orbital defense station. In surprisingly good condition and still very dangerous. I noticed. Okay, which part of you shoots out little fighter shits? Okay, so it's these doodads here. Rip and rip it. Definitely take that, doodad. From launching more fighters, because if you can't launch fighters, it's over. Can you aim where I want you to fucking aim? That is infuriating as shit. Oh, apparently once you destroy the module, they just fly away. Fair enough. Compact plasma cannon. Designed for a small maneuverable craft. This is a key component for constructing fighter drones. If we find more of these, we'll be able to build them ourselves. Alright, well, he launched a whole bunch of shit at me and I took that personally. I would like it to not aim towards center mass if I want to strip things off this thing. Say the weapons, for instance. Little shit. Light and titanium, can't argue with that though. A fortified tunnel at the base of a large mesa was buried centuries ago by a rock slide. In the past few decades, erosion effects have re-exposed it. The same effects have weathered away the shield plating to the point the team is able to enter without any difficulty. Deep within, the team finds an old research facility, probably from mid-Empire according to Ensign Triton. After an investigation of the surviving equipment, it seems like this facility worked in genetic modification. Unfortunately, the genetic materials have degraded to the point there is no hope of determining the nature of the modifications, or even the species, but a large device connected to the storage unit attracted Ensign Ray's attention. This transcriber could take patterns in DNA or species equivalents and record them in an optical substrate and vice versa. The data is annotated, but there's not enough context for the universal translator. Alright, since we don't have any quick travel points, let's head up to this star. And then we'll come back down through and we'll head over to the blue star. I want fighters. I want to become Battlestar Galactica. Shit. The anomaly detected from orbit turns out to be a mild magnetic field generated by concentrated ferrous minerals. Not valuable in themselves, sometimes they mark deposits of more valuable ore. Team locates a few easily extractable deposits of yttrium. Fair enough. Crew have advanced. Yeah, I guess I should be using that, huh? Everybody gets one. We need 40 points now. Son of a bitch. With great difficulty, Ensign Pyrrhix pilots the lander through a blinding sandstorm. Sensors estimate whatever the signal was, it's not far. That is, if there's anything at all. Huge amount of charged dust is wreaking havoc with the instrument. Shifting dunes cover and uncover geological features on an almost hourly basis. During a brief pause in the heavy sandstorm, Ensign Kepler spies an implausible sight. A lush oasis on this otherwise dry planet. When the team lands to investigate, they discover an artificial pool filled from a deep underground aquifer surrounded by greenery. At the bottom of the clear, these plants are actually genetically engineered colonies of prokaryotes. They have been designed to need little water while producing a lush foliage-like appearance. At the bottom of the clear water is a large stone slab covered in writing which translates as, "In 50 years this entire world will be just as lush thanks to Xenoform Guild tech. Contact your local purveyor to reserve your unknown unit of land area today." Ensign Pyrrhix estimates from the aquifer's depletion that this advertisement is roughly 3 centuries old. I don't think that panned out. Hey, look, it's Brogdeer bullshits. I mean, it's resources. Not paying you, but I am blasting you. Here, take payment in the way of a blaster bolt. Rip and rip, baby. No shot. No shot for you, son. At this point, you might as well just explode. Yeah, kind of like that. Man, just wait till I get a third gun on this son of a bitch. You're gonna have a really bad day. They do really like their gold, don't they? This planetoid still has a warm core leading to occasional volcanic eruptions. This lava field may have some heavier elements as a result. 2 diberyllium. Jackpot. Some diberyllium crystals are trapped in several of the veins. Alright then, I guess we gotta go back down the hard way. Let's go to there. Another dispatch device, probably. Yep. Using Dr. Daigura's analogy, I question the prudence of deliberately seeking out a plasma torch with the safety guard removed, particularly when we do not know what other safety question marks unaware. Despite pressure from question mark to make progress, our advice is against vault access. The dispatch contains several papers referring to an ancient structure that the Imperial archaeologists had discovered and believed to have contained something. An AI of unknown origin. This unremarkable blobby protrusion is a sign of an inverted magma protrusion, according to Ensign Pyrrhix, and often contain iridium deposits. Not the largest protrusion, but not the smallest. We'll take it. 3 iridium is better than no iridium. This gas giant has an unusual pressure transition where it rises, then falls, before rising again at a lower depth. This transition is inconsistent with the temperature gradient, and I don't have a good explanation. Fair enough. Sometimes if you don't know, you don't know. What I could use, though, is way more researchy bits. 650? It's good. But we need more. More, damn it. I kinda do want to try out the fighters, though. Like I said, I want to be Battlestar Galactica. Now we're back to devout bullshit, huh? Okay, I can deal with that. Every day and all day, baby. Ooh, and we got a wormhole generator. Very nice, very nice. Despite the unfriendly welcome above the planet, the survey team is permitted to land without incident atop a peripheral government building. Ensign Triton arranges a direct link between Atlas and the local minister, who explains the situation. The planet survived the collapse of the fallen empire with minimal economic damage. Their proximity to a devout stronghold discouraged other factions from trying to seize the world. But the devout have exerted their influence and economic power on the planet's populace to encourage conversion already a local mission of the Devout, has won several prominent political positions. Their future is already playing out on other nearby worlds. Within a few years, the Devout will have complete control, and previously tolerated beliefs will have been deemed heretical. Even speaking with the team is a significant risk. So why let us land? The minister pauses for an uncomfortably long time before glancing downward and announcing that diplomatic protocol requires presenting a gift to new alien first contacts. Now Atlas must depart from orbit immediately. The minister's tone changed at a certain point when her universal translator displayed a new signal. I think someone else might have started listening in. An amber skull. This object has no resource or scientific value. It was fabricated recently from low-quality plastics. The skull had a code concealed in its modded markings, designed to be hard to see with trioptic vision. Its coordinates on the surface of a nearby planet. Ooh, we got us a new mystery. I like it. Alright, since they leveled enough and I don't really care, and it's a free 1 XP, let's just jump over here, take care of this thing. Should chat with an Ermir if we see one. Where are they at? As the team follows a game path through the trees, Ensign Lee signals a stop and silently transmits a message: "We're being followed." An intelligent bipedal hunter with natural light-reflecting camouflage. The team spends several hours following and sometimes being followed by their mysterious quarry. As the sun begins to set, Ensign Kepler spots a glimmer in the tree. With a quick shot from a stun rifle, they are able to incapacitate the creature long enough to examine its unique physiology. Where are the Ermir bros at? There you are. Come here. Yeah, look, I'm no longer a small little dinky ship. I'm actually bigger than you are, you son of a bitch. How you doing? Let's buy that doodad. Like a positive to me, man. We definitely aren't hurting for titanium with as much as we're blasting, right? Alright, that was a successful transaction in my book. Back to base. Delicate device. An intricate lattice of platinum and silver surrounding a core of unknown dull crystal. When activated, the device projects an aesthetically pleasing hologram of ever-changing colors. It's unclear if the colors contain any actual information, although they do show some fractal characteristics. Gas grenade, a small grenade-like weapon, releasing a fast-acting neurotoxin that temporarily stuns most oxygen-breathing organisms. A knife with a glittering edge. The edge is composed of a single molecule of adamantine bonded on one side to titanium. The glittering is caused by air molecules splitting when they touch it. Okay. Okie dokie, we got the combined data helps us put many of our previous discoveries into a broader context. My team has completed the process of combining our archives with your survey logs. There's a lot of fragmentary data, but we're starting to form a better picture of the history of this space. Have you found anything regarding the Grorier? No reference to them in our research so far, although it's clear there are many minor species and factions without enough detail to associate them with any present-day faction. We found references to the Locan. There's some references to an Ophidian race that was particularly independent, but eventually cowed into submission by the Empire's chariots. Unclear if it's the same faction, though. Brogdeer. I gather they were originally a regional constabulary force formed during the late Empire period to fight growing lawlessness in border regions. Initially funded by a consortium of local governments, after the collapse they became more self-sufficient. The Ermir? As a matter of fact, I was just reading an interesting databank on the Ermir. The Ermir were the dominant species of the Imperial military. Since the Empire had no military rivals, it's hard to evaluate their strength. It seems like there were multiple legions, with the most powerful being the first, followed by the second, and so forth. Non-legion Ermir were like local constabulary. The first legion commanded the Imperial chariots, and are not mentioned in any post-Empire accounts. The second legion still claimed to serve the Empire, although in their dialect the word for money and empire are interchangeable. The CXTA? They were the faction principally responsible for logistics during the Empire's reign, transporting raw materials, low-tech goods, and so forth between worlds that did not produce them locally. This was in contrast to the Imperial Trade Guild, who could buy and sell imperial goods. Imperial goods was a special term for technology so advanced there was no risk of it being reversed engineered by the purchaser. Anything about the Devout? As far as I can tell, they were a religious awakening that emerged during the late fallen Empire. Their precise beliefs are a bit confusing. They clearly worship the remnant artifacts, but specific beliefs are hard to pin down. They became increasingly fanatic over time, but were surprisingly unconcerned with orthodoxy. Most fanatical groups are pretty strict on adhering to some specific set of beliefs. About a Whisk-a-Mug. Maybe, as a reminder, the Universal Translator generates identifiers for proper nouns based on context and so forth. Looking at the underlying language matrices, it's challenging even for a Xeno expert. There are some references to an entity that might match Whisk-a-Mug, but I had marked them as obvious folklore. The character rode across the stars on a giant pink horse, arm-wrestled a Telonian, challenged a black hole to a drinking contest, that sort of thing. Stories go back to the early Empire, so it seems unlikely to be even loosely inspired by a being alive today. Or maybe he just lives a very long time. Oh, hi. We come with a warning. Rumors have reached us that the devout are increasing their attention in your direction. They have even incorporated the Atlas into the latest incarnation of their eschatology. Well, that sounds ominous. Our reaction as well, which is why we hurried to seek you out. It's a clever stratagem they use. They've observed your interest in the remnant artifacts. Their sermons are now subtly changing to connect the Telonian and Commander Rask. Now your investigations conveniently fulfill fresh prophecies, and their converts grow. Know now that you are the focus of their attention. They will pursue you with fanaticism, and do not assume their irrational superstition means they are fools. Well, thanks for that. You are welcome. You share our interest in knowledge and enmity of the devout. We are hearing reports that their ranks are growing even faster, and with new converts they gain access to superior technologies. Fabulous. Just fabulous. A lot of talking going on right now. And I assume I'm about to get a whole lot more. Sure enough. A good commander can admit when he was wrong, and I like to think I'm a good commander. Dr. Rama's request to investigate the Cephid was right, but she was wrong to ignore my orders and try to inject her priorities above mine. Unfortunately, I'm a bit constrained in my ability to punish her. Ignoring her insubordination, it is an important discovery. Captain Dulcin and her team believe there's a connection between the Starlance, as she calls it, and the polyhedra artifact, and the wormhole. Your new top priority is determining what the Starlance does and how to operate it. And one more thing. Yes? If Dr. Rama tries to reprioritize your objectives again, let me know. I have not had an opportunity to review the Atlas's logs, but I gather from yous shouting at me about the chain of command that you've investigated the Cephid variable star and found something interesting. I was only listening to the bits about science, which were sparse. Turns out to be a massive remnant artifact whose rotation blocks out the light of a star. Not a Cephid at all then? Disappointing. Did you miss the bit about the remnant artifact that engulfed the star? It's already been well established that objects in front of light cast shadows. I understand that it's a mysterious enigma from an ancient civilization and such, but it isn't giving me new information. Perhaps you can coax it to release some interesting particles like that other thing. More resources, can't go wrong with that. The lab computers are analyzing some of your recent research data, so I have a minute to answer one non-urgent question. Can you explain where we are? Assuming your question to mean this universe, and not a complete collapse of your spatial awareness, we are in a universe that's separate from our own during the inflationary epoch. A remnant of the Big Bang, as it were. This is in line with our cosmological models, but all inflationary universes should have become completely separate from ours immediately after they formed. Which raises the very interesting question why this universe remained tethered to ours by a quantum wormhole. A wormhole which Starcom purportedly expanded via our new wormhole stabilizers. This is a topic that would consume more time than I will likely have to spare in the near future. Okie dokie. So, what are we doing? Are we running it down? Sure, why not? Alright, so we clipped out sensors, translators, tractor beams, training, and reactors, and we are on to the engines. And engines themselves are almost done as well. Hell yeah. Okay. That was the thing I made. I need aluminum. 319 aluminum. But I could also readjust, considering we did get a whole bunch of new technical bits and doodads, which I think is what I'm going to do. So let me play around here. Alright, so that's what I got at the moment. Obviously, I don't have the resources to facilitate such a thing with, you know, the missing gold and the titanium, but we'll work up to it. For now, I'm going to take a break. So you all stay safe out there, have a good one, and we'll be back to continue shenanigans in a bit.